a crazed shooter armed with multiple guns, who posted online threats to, quote, go berserk, and whose own reported daughter claims had, quote, mental health issues and was very sick. Who was Robert Dorgan, the trans father who fatally opened fire during a Rhode Island high school hockey game? Chaos erupted during a hockey tournament at Lynch Arena in Pawtucket, Rhode Island on February 16th, when gunshots rang out from the stands around 2:30 p.m., causing families and players to scramble for safety. Harrowing live stream video captured the unfolding chaos as clumps of spectators sprinted to the exit as approximately 11 gunshots were fired from the stands. Many players on the bench pushed to squeeze out of the box, with some ditching their skates in the process. Others vaulted over the barrier surrounding the rink and headed straight for the locker room. 2 people were killed during the heinous massacre, and 3 others were critically injured, in what police described as a targeted family dispute. The shooter was later identified as Robert Dorgan, a 56-year-old father whose son was a North Providence high school senior that was competing in the hockey tournament. Dorgan, who was trans and went by the female alias Roberta Esposito, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound at the scene. Officials said Dorgan fatally shot one of his own sons and the boy's mother. According to a GoFundMe page, Dorgan's 23-year-old son Aiden and his ex-wife Rhonda were confirmed as the victims who were killed. Investigators are also still probing a motive for the bloodshed, but court documents show that the father's transgender identity appeared to be a source of multiple family court battles in the years prior. According to filings obtained by WPRI, Dorgan's ex, Rhonda, filed for divorce from the crazed shooter back in 2020, citing his, quote, narcissistic and personality disorder traits, and his gender reassignment surgery. Rhonda later amended the reasoning for their split, which was finalized in 2021, blaming it on, quote, irreconcilable differences, which have caused the immediate breakdown of the marriage. Police believe Dorgan was intentionally targeting his own family when he opened fire in the stands and then killed himself. A woman spotted leaving the Pawtucket police
What? Let's keep going.
station in the wake of the shooting identified herself as the gunman's daughter, confirming that her father had mental health issues.
My father was a shooter.
What happened?
He shot my family. He has mental health issues.
Any idea why he would have done this?
He's sick. He's very sick.
The night before the bloodshed, the 56-year-old dad, who underwent gender reassignment surgery in 2020, also made an ominous post on X. In response to a post calling trans Democratic Representative Sarah McBride a man, Dorgan wrote, "Keep bashing us, but do not worry why we go berserk." Dorgan also posted a similar response to a post from conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. In other X posts, Dorgan offered his support for the Second Amendment and ICE and his disdain for abortion. Dorgan also appeared to be a Nazi sympathizer and had a history of spewing anti-Semitic and racist rhetoric on social media, making repeated references to white power and white pride worldwide in several post replies.
Oh, hold on. It's kind of hurting my brain. So we got a transgender dad who's also a Nazi sympathizer, white supremacist. All this stuff just not, to me, doesn't go together, but let's keep going.
The day before his rampage at the hockey rink, Dorgan posted an anti-Asian slur as he replied to a video praising Adolf Hitler. One photo posted online even showed Dorgan brandishing a large SS symbol tattoo on his right arm, a reference to Hitler's secret police force. Pawtucket Police Chief Tina Goncalves praised a Good Samaritan who she said stepped in and attempted to subdue Dorgan. Witnesses said the man, the father of another hockey player, disarmed Dorgan, but he had a backup firearm, both of which police retrieved at the scene.
Crazy scene, y'all. Now, this is a lot to take in. Why? The daughter says mental health. We don't know about that. But I still would... Let's go over into the next video. Hopefully it gives us more information to think about.
From Rhode Island, this terrible story. 3 people dead, including the attacker, after a shooting at a youth hockey game that was captured on camera. The shooting happened in Pawtucket, a few miles outside of Providence. yesterday afternoon. 3 more in critical condition at the hospital. Alexis McAdams has more on this. And the gunman. Alexis, good morning.
Bill, good morning. Yeah, this just keeps unfolding and the details are shocking and really tragic. There was just chaos inside of this ice rink out on Rhode Island during a high school hockey game after one of the hockey parents in the crowd pulled out a gun and opened fire, shooting members of his own family. Watch. I mean, you can hear the gunshots there just erupting. You can hear the echo inside of that indoor hockey rink out there in Pawtucket. And then what you see in that video is that people are running for cover there. They're trying to get off the ice. They're ducking and trying to get out of the way. Investigators have identified Robert Dorgan as the shooter. So I want to walk you through what we know about him. Just take a look here at this picture. This is from his social media profiles. They say he...
Well, I'm about to say that's a wild picture.
He also went by Roberta, so Roberta Dorgan. And sources tell Fox he was dressed in women's clothing when he showed up to his son's hockey game yesterday afternoon. These pictures you're looking at are from months ago, Bill, but witnesses and people we've talked to who were at this hockey game say that this was something that happened pretty often where he would show up in women's clothing. So according to documents obtained by our affiliate WPRI, Dorgan had a history of family disputes. So let's get into them. Some involving conflict over his gender identity because he had gender reassignment surgery back in 2020. So WPRI reports that in these court documents, his trans identity led to the divorce with his ex-wife, reportedly detailing, she said, that he had narcissistic and personality disorder traits along with the transition. So his social media profile's under investigation. I want to point this out. Just one day before he opened fire, he was defending trans Congresswoman Sarah McBride. He wrote this in part on X: "Keep bashing us, but do not wonder why we go berserk." So they're looking into all of these things on social media. As investigators say, it was a targeted attack. That's one thing they know for sure. Sources telling Fox it was a dispute within this family that led to the tragedy. So the gunman shows up, kills his ex-wife and one of his own kids at the hockey game. Police say 3 others are in the hospital fighting for their lives. And there really could have been more people that were killed, but a good Samaritan stepped in and tried to take this gunman down. Watch.
Police were on scene within a minute and a half of that call. A good Samaritan stepped in and interjected in this scene, and that's probably what led to a swift end of this tragic event.
And so what we know right now is that the mayor has said so far, Bill, they've interviewed dozens, maybe more than 100 people. They're going to look at all the different video and pieces together. The question is, how many weapons did this gunman have? We know at least one, and it could have been a lot worse if this other person at the game wouldn't have stepped in and taken that shooter down. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Sure, yeah, and all caught on camera too.
Terrible.
Alexis, thank you for that.
And Paul Morrow is still with us. Can you give us a sense of, well, I know that you're a hockey guy.
Yeah.
You grew up on the rink, your nephews play on the rink, and it's hard for all parents to watch what happened.
Yeah, very, very tough. I would say a couple of things. There's some reporting that he had more than one gun. I go to the guns because one of the things we always hear is red flag laws, all right? People who are mentally ill, and by the way, strong Second Amendment advocates agree with that. Crazy people shouldn't have guns. That's how somebody recently put it to me, who's very active in that community.
Understand.
This person, by their own daughter's statements after this event, was severely mentally ill and yet had these weapons. And, you know, look, not all trans people are shooters. Nobody is saying that. But at some point, we're going to have to accept the evidence here that there's something going on with the medication that is involved in transitioning that creates this kind of anger and disassociation. And I'm sorry, but the fact that you have red flag laws means that you need to use them. And this guy very clearly was telegraphing in bright red lights. Problem. I'd like to know if the guns were legal, how we got them. That should be a line of inquiry here.
Fair question.
Now, I don't know if we can blame it on the medication that trans people use. But yes, there has been several trans people shootings, school shootings as well, that Canada shooting, and just other shootings all around that have dealt with that have killed people. Now, I don't know if we can specifically blame it on their drugs that they are taking, but mentally ill people can do horrible, crazy things. That's all I can say, but Let me know your thoughts. We're gonna go over to this next video. We're just gonna watch because we actually got the security footage.
This game was being live streamed. It was a game at the Dennis Lynch Arena in Pawtucket where there was a shooting today. 3 people are dead, including the gunman. And we want to take a look at this. We can hear the shooting. This is being live streamed today. Let's listen. And then you see the students getting off the ice, running for cover. This is at Dennis Lynch Arena in Pawtucket about 2:30 this afternoon. I'm very familiar with this arena because my son played here. They're going over to the locker because the lockers are on that side. So
Scattering, which is understandable. This is a crazy situation. Now let's go over to the AI breakdown just so we can get a little bit more information about this. So as we know, on February 16th, a targeted shooting occurred during a high school boys hockey game in Lynch Arena in Pawtucket. The gunfire broke out around 2:30 p.m. during a senior night. 2 adults were killed, 3 others were critically injured. One deceased has been identified as the shooter's ex-wife, and the son of the shooter also reported among the victims. Authorities have identified it as Robert, 56-year-old, and an employee of a General Dynamic Bath Iron Works. He died at the scene of a apparent self-inflicted gun wound. So we know about a Good Samaritan. So investigators believe the shooting stemmed from a long-standing domestic dispute. Court records indicate that he had family conflicts, including a 2021 divorce and disputes related to his gender identity. No student athletes, coaches were physically injured in the shooting. They are temporarily suspended all games. There's a lot to take in about this whole situation. But one question, like they was talking about, do you think that the drugs that the transgenders are using after their gender affirming surgeries is causing this? It's causing them to react. I don't think that we can just blame it on the drugs. I think there's a lot of mentally ill people. I think there's a lot of crazy people out there that we have to make sure that they don't have access to guns, of course. And then make sure that we are appropriately punish or house people who commit something like this. No matter what it is, it's a tragic situation. I would like to know why he shot them up, but he was going through some mental problems. So it might not be a clear reason of why he was upset and wanted to kill both his ex-wife and his own son. It's a tragic situation no matter how you look at it. But let me know your thoughts on this whole thing, y'all. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. What are your thoughts on this whole thing? It's been a lot of shootings dealing with transgender people. Are the drugs a problem?